So, I have officially triggered, apparently, a shitload of so-called adults who play video games. Now, let me tell you, I play, I play a lot of different games online, but I stick to a couple that I play, if I have the time, at least a few rounds a day. I would like to play the Friday the 13th game a little bit more, but I feel kind of stupid because I don't really know much about that game. I'm learning. But I play Call of Duty a lot. I've not really had any problems on there other than somebody that was just trying to troll me and then they didn't like my response, so they went on a butthurt rampage of trying to make me mad when all they were doing was, at first it started off as just being something funny to me, and I felt bad because I knew everybody in the game could hear it, so I was just trying to get it to stop, and I did get really mean about some stuff, and they eventually shut the fuck up and went on. But, you know, I'm not one to, like, report players or whatever, but, anyway, I see people all the time bitching about camping on Call of Duty. Okay. I play Call of Duty a lot. My kids play Call of Duty a lot. What some people consider camping, I don't consider camping. They're sniping. Camping to me is hiding in a place where you're likely not going to be found or would not be found very often, and killing people as you can. Like, we get spawn camped all the time when we play online. All the time. If we play team deathmatch, almost always there's some people on the other team that spawn camp us, that will camp out where we spawn and kill us as soon as we come back. Okay, do I get mad? Yeah, it's irritating, but not to the point that I'm going to message a player and say, hey, quit being a bitch, you know? So I just look at it as like, we're being, you know, it's a game. I'm not going to call somebody out and like cuss them for it. Yeah, it's irritating. I could say something to them in gameplay, but why? I mean, you're not gonna make them change their mind. You rarely might you get an apology. It just depends. For some reason, I usually get in groups with a bunch of younger boys. And it is so funny because when they're talking, and this is on Call of Duty, when they're talking to me, they're like, so you're a gamer mom? And I'm like, I guess, if that's what you want to call me. I'm a mom. I play video games. I don't think I play enough to be considered a gamer, but sure, go for it. And some of them add me, and I feel a little funny about it, but they don't, like, send me messages or try to talk to me. The only thing they do is if they see me on and they're playing and they need help, they'll send me an invite and I'll play with them. You know, we might talk during gameplay like that, but most of them are actually friends with my kids, so it isn't bad. You know, they met me because maybe I was playing with one of the kids, so they just added us both. They surely didn't add me from a mad skills at Call of Duty because I suck. I am the worst one in this house at that damn game. Yet, I can play it for hours on end when I'm in a mood. When I'm not in the mood, I don't play shit. That's just how I am. So, I enjoyed Friday the 13th, what little I've played. The first time I played, I met up with one of the other survivors because I didn't get Jason, of course, my first time playing. And I told him, I said, I found this. I don't know what the hell to do. I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this game. Will you help me? And he said, yeah, just stay with me. Give me that part. I know what to do with it. Grab you a weapon and just follow me. So that's what I did. And he was a younger kid too, probably close to my son's age. And the guy that was playing, that was Jason, because when Jason gets in so close to you, you can actually, you guys can conversate. Other than that, Jason can't hear the counselors, and the counselors can't hear Jason. Only once you get right up on him, you can talk to him. And he was cracking me up because he was like calling out for like WWE moves and stuff. Like, that's what he was calling it, WWE something. And then he was like, oh, and you're not gonna have any kids anymore. And he axed me in the crotch, and then he grabs my ankles and like pulls me so the axe goes all the way up and, you know, splits my body in half. One of the most brutal kills. And then I was laughing because one of the characters kind of looks like Tommy Chong. And I know they're all from the movie, but it's so funny. And he has the, like, you got taunts and stuff, and this guy has obviously played a while, because I had him as one of my survivors when I was Jason. He was really funny, and I really enjoyed that game. And then my second time playing Friday the 13th, I got to be Jason. So, I'm learning how to work the game, okay? I knew that Jason could spawn, but I didn't know that that was something that you had to wait on. I also didn't know that it's randomly picked who comes back once killed as a survivor. One person comes back. Hey, Aiden! What is the name of the character that comes back on Friday the 13th if you're a survivor? Chad. Are you sure? The one with the gun? Yeah, Chad, I guess. Tommy, that's right, Tommy. He comes back with a gun. Like, if a couple of, if you are, you know, you can speculate, or speculate, you can spectate the rest of the match, which I usually do. I don't just leave the thing, because then usually you can play a game with the same people, and if there's a lot of nice people in that game, I just want to stay in the game. But, like, my first time ever getting killed as a survivor, the kid that was helping me is like, oh, you won't get him, and he said, you're new, and you got killed so quick. Bam! I come back as the guy. I'm supposed to save all of the survivors. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I tried. Then as Jason, I got beat up so bad I lost my mask, but I did get one kill. And I eventually just turned it over to my son and watched him on my account play. I even told the kid, I'm like, I'm going to hand this over to my son. Well, then they became buddies, and they're playing that. Then they play on Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight plays kind of similar. Both were originally computer games from what I understand, and they've been modified for the PS4. What sucks about that is it causes glitches, I know, in Dead by Daylight. I have not seen any yet on Friday the 13th. So, I've been playing quite a bit of Dead by Daylight during the day. One thing I don't like playing about it is, unless you go on there with friends, you can't talk to anybody. Of course, I would say if you're going on there, because, like, you can survive with your friends, or you can try to kill your friends. I would say that kind of, if you're the killer and they're the survivors, I don't know if you can talk to them. I'm sure you could put them, well, I mean, you could put anybody in a party and talk to them while you're playing a different game, but, okay, so I play this game a lot. As, I play as a survivor quite a bit, but I really suck at it. Like, I'm usually the first one caught, and the first one hung, and since I know nobody that I'm playing with, it seems that unless you really know somebody, they don't give a fuck if you live or die. Very rarely will you play with people that will actually help you out. Which sucks, because I'm the type that if somebody is in trouble, even if I don't know them, I will go help them out. Even if, you know, I never hear from them. I don't give a shit. It's a video game, not real life. And I think that's where people get confused. They think video games are real life, so if you don't play exactly how they think you should play, which is still legal rules, I know it's an asshole move on some games to do what they call camping. But on a game like that, okay, let me set you up for this, okay? You can pick to play as a killer or a survivor. A lot of them, if you don't have the expanders pack like we do, you have some characters that were designed by them, and then you get to level them up. They all have a special ability, but other than that, they're generally the same. So, you run around and you have 4 survivors. You have to find them while they're trying to get these generators to work to get the exits open. So it's like a match that you have so long to do this. So, you go around and you try to find them. The first time that you hit them with a weapon, they can get away from you. So then you've got to chase them down. Whenever they're injured, they're easier to hear. The streaks are bigger. You can really tell where they go. And they must be hit 2 times, normally, to go on the hook. If you find them in a closet, you can grab them and put them on a hook without having to hit them with anything. Okay? As a survivor, I noticed, like, because when I first started playing, I would put people on the hook and then, like, they'd be fucking gone. And then I would never get anybody sacrificed inside a game. So, as I was playing with a survivor, or playing as a survivor, I was noticing that unless it's certain characters that they're playing with, certain killers, when people put people on hooks, they watch them because people can come get them, and it's this easy. I can be standing like right in front of the hook, and as soon as somebody grabs them, like just touches them, they're off the hook. It's not even a struggle. So, yeah, I mean, I stand there and I don't stand right up on them. Like, I stand far enough back where I can see, like, if somebody else is coming up because I can go after them or, you know, whatever. Because at one point in time, I had 3 people on the ground. So that means that I have to pick one up, put them on a hook, go back. Hopefully the other one's still semi where they were because they can crawl off, put them on a hook, go back, put them on a hook. And how that happened was I wasn't sitting right on top of the hook, but I was close enough that I could see people sneaking up. So when they came up to the hook, I would just run up to them and I would hit somebody. Sometimes I would hit the one that got off the hook, who was already taken off running. So there again, I was going to have to go and hit them twice. Or this person was already injured, and so they took the second hit. So I would just grab them and put them on the hook. And just the same thing, you know. And then you've got, like I said, there's glitches. And one of my last rounds today, I hit a girl as she was trying to vault over something, and it was her second time. So she was down so I could pick her up, but she was in a glitch, so I couldn't. So somebody that was playing with her I got him down too, right there at the same spot, and they both stayed in that glitch until I walked away. Then they got up and left. Not to mention that it's really frustrating when you're playing as the killer and you hit somebody for the first time, say early on in the game, and you hook them the first time, they will just take themselves out of the round altogether. So you get like a quitter's bonus, but it's still not the same as having them on the hook and, you know, sacrifice to the etny or I don't know, but I don't bitch about that. It's unfair gameplay. Yeah, it really is. I mean, once you're in there, unless there's an emergency, you should stay in there. Don't get butt hurt because things aren't going your way and just get out of the game. You don't do that. Common sense. I suck as a survivor. I tell everybody that. My daughter's the best one out of all of us here as a survivor. But when I play as a survivor, I see people like that. Do you know how many times I've risked myself? How many times my daughter's risked herself to go save people? And then we turn around and if we get hooked, we don't get the same. That's fucked up. But every time I've ever played as the survivor, with the exceptions of one time, anytime somebody gets put on a hook, the killer tends to stand within vision of that hook. Not right on the hook, but within vision of that hook. Because they can get off the hook. People can come help them. And it's just a really ongoing game. And so, everybody does it that I've played with. Everybody. I've played one round where a guy didn't do it. And it was because the character he had, there's a way that he can make characters scream to know where they're at. So then that comes into play. But other than that, people pretty much stand there and watch them. So I've been playing this game now for quite some time. I know I've been saying that I wanted to do some streams on here. I don't know. I gotta figure out how to work that. But I've been playing for quite some time now. Probably, God, I'm trying to think. I know I've been playing since before Christmas. And nobody has ever, I mean, the only message I ever got about that game was a tip on if I was the doctor, how to use him to my advantage. And that was it. Nobody's ever messaged me from that game. I've gotten a friend request from that game, and that was it. So, today I play, and what was really fucked up, one round, I put somebody on a hook, they disconnect. Like, as soon as I hung them, they disconnected. So then that person's out. Or I pick them, you know, I hit them one time, throw them over my shoulder. First hit of the game, throw them over my shoulder. They disconnect. So I'm dealing with this. I'm not bitching about it. I think it is bullshit that they can do that. And instead of giving it to me as, you know, somebody that was killed, they just give you what's called a quitter's bonus, which, I mean, you get points for it, but it's still fucked up. But they're more worried. The survivors want to bitch about a killer who stands not directly in front of the hook, but in eyesight of the hook. Because I'm always kind of like moving around the hook to kind of get an idea of what's going on. And they were like, oh, you camping, bitch, and like calling me a bitch and all this other stuff. I mean, like, these are adults. And I'm like, honey, it's a video game for starters. And secondly, even if I do stand right in front of the hook, that's the fucking way I play, and that's the way that I see a lot of people play that game. So get over yourself. At least I'm not one of these people that as soon as things don't go their way, I disconnect from the game, or I use the glitches to my advantage, which I wish I knew how to report those. It's stupid. Like, one of the ones that was messaging me, bitching about me being in the same general vicinity, because there were several hooks right there together, so I was good to go. So I was kind of pacing back and forth in this area, and he was bitching about that. He was one that was using the glitch. Like, I had two in the glitch that were both ready to go on hooks, and as soon as I went up to go over to see if maybe I could pick them up that way, they got out of the glitch. So it wasn't like they were stuck. They knew what they were doing. They were staying in the glitch because they didn't want to be picked up and put on the hook. That is cheating. Watching somebody to make sure that they don't get off the hook or that somebody doesn't come and get them, that's not cheating. That's just using your brain. It's just like people want to bitch about camping in Call of Duty. A lot of different things. Like, I'm a rifleman class. Like, the class I play with is rifleman. So I have two main weapons, and machine gun and my sniper rifle. So, some of the maps I just, run and gun. Other maps I strategically place myself, and I'm a sniper. My son does the same thing. Now, if I get killed, one or two times in one spot, I'm not going to keep going back to that spot. I find another spot to go. But I've noticed a thing on there where people are spawn camping. Well, these adults want to bitch about Dead by Daylight and how not only I play, but other people play the game as well. And I look, and they play Call of Duty too. So, like, what do they do when they come up against people who are, like, really good at sniping? Because that is, like, that's what I'm good at, sniping. It doesn't necessarily mean that I stay in one spot. I put myself in a spot where I can move around and snipe. Not in the same spot. And I don't care if I'm not getting anything done, I will switch guns and I will go and I will run and gun. That's not camping. There's a big difference. And for grown-ass adults to get so mad over a video game that they're sending messages to people that they don't know, calling them a pussy, calling them bitches, everything under the sun. They don't know anything about me. Not one damn thing. And then the one's like, well, you're just as bad. You're bitching too. I said, how am I bitching? I'm telling you, shut up. I don't give a shit what you've got to say. I play the game the way that I play the game, the way that I see others have played the game, where I learn how to play the game from, because, most games don't come with instructions anymore. And almost even my kids can tell you, like, when they play, because my daughter mostly plays Survivor. She sees it done all the time herself. Which was what confused her, because she was the first one that noticed it. She's like, what is he talking about? Are you playing Call of Duty? Like, that was the first thing she thought of. I'm like, no, I've been playing Dead by Daylight. And, I was trying to say that I was doing the same thing that he was doing. I'm like, no, I'm giving you examples. Like, I play this game this way. I've played this game. I'm here every day. Nobody is yet, bitch. You're the first one. And, I have to deal, when I play as a killer, as people disconnecting from the game all the time, because either I got them first, or I got them hooked, and they didn't feel anybody was going to come save them, or they're going to be able to get down. And so, instead of playing the game the right way, they just disconnect, rather than taking the death loss. How is that any better than me standing just in I's view with the character of the hook? How is that any different? I find it worse to disconnect just because things aren't going your way. That's something that a child would do. And then to actually take the time out and to bitch to somebody that you don't know about the way they play a game because you don't like the way they play it is bullshit. It's not rules of the game. So, you know, I don't like campers. That isn't camping. It's a strategic game. You have 4 people that you must capture and put on a hook and leave them there until they're summoned and killed. And while they're on the hook, other players can come help them. So what are you going to do? You're going to place them on the hook knowing that other players are in that vicinity and leave them to go find them and just to keep having to grab the same ones and put them back on the hooks. And, you know, and it's just really, it's stupid. It's called a strategy. I went from being absolutely terrible as the killer to being better, and it has nothing to do with that. I'm not one of those that stand like right at the hook because that's a little much. And plus people will come from all angles, so I have to really be prepared. So I stand back far enough away that if somebody gets off the hook, I can't get them. Like, I can't just grab them and put them back on the hook. I can't. I have to chase them back down. So it's all fair play. But yes, seriously, butthurt adults. I have played that game with children who don't get mad. I play games with children all the time because I have children. They don't get mad at stuff like this, but yet adults do. Okay, now seriously, what are game consoles? What were game consoles originally kind of pushed towards? Young adults, teenagers, kids. Okay? Not people my age to sit around and bitch at other people their age. Or that could have even been a kid. They don't know. All they see is a screen name and, you know, not a real picture of me unless you're like I accepted a close friends request from you or something. You don't see my picture. You see my avatar. So they don't have any idea who's behind that name. They could have been talking to a young kid that way. It was awful. But I wasn't mad. The thing that I thought it was funny, I'm like, these grown-ass adults are bitching about camping because I stay in the general vicinity while somebody's on a hook until they're gone. Yeah. When kids I play with, don't do that. I play 1v1 with some kids with my son sometimes that are his age on Call of Duty. And we do some shit to each other that we wouldn't normally do in gameplay. And guess what? We don't get mad. The kids don't get mad. I would expect that from a child, not grown-ass men. So the next time that you're online and you're going to message somebody that you don't know about their style of play and be a little bitch, that is worse than, I don't put up with it from kids. Kids are not near as bad as adults, I've learned. Realize that you come off, 1, as immature, 2, as butthurt because you can't get your entire crew out the gate because I'm making sure that with all of the fight that I do to put somebody on the hook, they fucking stay there until they're dead. And if I catch somebody around the hook, they get clocked too. So I've been playing the game, like I said, since before Christmas. And I play a lot because I've been taking turns leveling up all my characters and trying to unlock a bunch of stuff. So, but I do play Survivor sometimes, and when I do, every killer does the same thing except for one gameplay that happened. So why decide now, other than the fact they were butthurt because I killed their asses in gameplay? That's what I've got to say to you. If you're an adult and you play online games and you want to turn around and be a little bitch about something that isn't even in the rule book, fuck you. Get a life. Grow up. Seriously. These kids that I play with that I know through my kids are more mature than 90% of the so-called adults I play with online. It's never been anybody that I know. It's never been anybody that knows me. It's always strangers. So stop. Act like adults. That's all I'm saying. Because my kids see the messages. So when you message me cussing, just remember, or when you message anybody like that cussing, if they've not started with you, I mean, if they start with you, you know, say what you've got to back. But don't start with somebody with stuff like that, because sometimes they're sitting in a room with their children and their children are seeing this shit. Stop. Period. Like I said, I play most of the time with kids that are between the ages of 11 and 16, because my kids are 11 and 15, and they're more mature than the adults that I play with that I don't know personally. Let that sink in for a little bit. Everybody wants to complain about kids nowadays. So far, all the ones I've met have been very respectful and a lot nicer, and at least they don't get butthurt over a fucking video game like some adults. Fuck you if you have a problem with how somebody plays a video game. As long as they're playing within the rules, fuck you. You have no right to say shit. If they're using glitches, and then you're gonna bitch at them too, a double fuck you, because not only then are you actually really breaking rules, because PlayStation will ban you for using glitches, but you're also being a bitch in play, and then you're being a bitch by complaining about how I'm playing because I'm wrecking your ass every time that I find you. Don't have to message me and get mad, but please act like adults. So while I lay here sick, I had to work on this video. And if this happens again, I'll screenshot or record the conversation so you guys can see how pathetic these so-called adults can be. It's quite funny. Even my kids were like, what the hell? It's so immature. Yeah, 11 and 15-year-old kids calling these adults immature.